welcome to the channel. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. Today's video is going to feature a new watch from a brand which bought us one of the best value for money watches around this time of year in 2024. They now have another equally stunning and value for money option. Let me introduce the SH08 model made entirely of forged carbon. And I have to say, on the first impressions, it looks very cool, but feels very different at the same time, but it's a good different. So here are the specifications. As mentioned, a fully forged carbon case. You've got a sapphire crystal on the top, 100 meters of water resistance, which includes a screw down case back and a push-pull crown. The watch comes with a PT5000 movement, which is an ETA 2824 clone. It's pretty well established by now, been out for a fair few years, and it's very accurate with decent reliability, but it is prone to similar issues as the ETA 2824. The dimensions are as follows: a 40mm case by 11.5mm in thickness and a lug-to-lug of 45mm, but with that integrated strap means it does extend to around 53mm, but you will be surprised how it fits. Now this watch is very similar to the first model by SH Watch that I reviewed last year, which from a design basis was a bit of a blend between the PRX with hints of Christopher Ward. Now I'm pretty sure this is exactly the same, but in this fully forged carbon case, which looks and feels incredible. Now this is my first hands-on experience with a forged carbon case, and what I can tell you is that it's very smooth, it's got very clean lines and bevels along the side. You're able to make out all the case lines and definition really well as compared to a, let's say, PVD coated watch, for example, where sometimes the case definition isn't always that clear. Now, in terms of weight and feel, it's not super light like titanium or perhaps a plasticky kind of material. It does have a bit of weight to it, and it does actually have some hardness. Not like steel, of course, but definitely harder than plastic. Now, it does feel surprisingly solid. Now, you can also see that awesome grain of carbon in the case with streaks and slices where the carbon has been placed. And the carbon does tend to glisten upon direct lighting. So it's like a PVD coated case, but with a lot more character and none of that chalky texture. The bezel is also the same material, but as I stated, it does feel quite hard, just under steel in terms of touch. Now, I believe the actual crown and the case back are actually steel. Now, while the crown, it does look small, it's actually just the right size to be able to pull the crown out and turn and function the watch, without that awkwardness you get on smaller crowns. Now, the design and configuration of the dial, again, it is the same as the first model, but again, we have a fully forged carbon dial, and it's quite fluid in the sense of that grain that you see here. I would have expected to see some sharp edgy pieces, but it looks like it's been melted. You got a few swirls in there, and it's a very interesting grain to look at. Now, for a flat dial, you do get that awesome depth with that shimmer of the grey against that black present in that dial. Now, the hour markers are large, baton style, with that crisp micro detailing that I like to see. Now, the frame of the markers is horizontally brushed with sharp cut bevels at the bottom. The handset is also covered with light catching micro details. You've got very slight bevels on either side of the hands with very strong brushing along the center. And you also get this edge at the tip of the hour hand, which really emphasizes that sharpness. Now, the hands are a little large proportionately, but I do like it. It gives it fantastic legibility. And due to those large markers and hands, you get a very impressive lume. No patchiness. It's way more than adequate for a sporty watch. Now, let's take a quick look at the case back. It is see-through, but I'm sure the glass is actually tinted to give it a much darker appearance. I doubt they've coated the movement, but it does work well, definitely in line with the aesthetic. And through it, you see that PT5000 movement, which granted isn't much to look at. You also notice the quick release spring bars on the strap, which you'll be pleased to know is switchable with the PRX 40mm watch straps. This has been confirmed by a buyer on AliExpress. The movement is running very reliably and accurate. As I said, most of these are, but they are known to have similar issues as the ETA 2824, but they've been around long enough now to have a very respectable reputation. Now, these movements have a slightly torqueer hand wind, and problematic ones are even more difficult to turn, so that would be your clue. So on wrist, the fit, as I said before, is very surprising. I can still recall the first one, the steel version, was a decent fit, but I feel a flat 40mm PRX style case never really sits properly on my wrist size. But with this soft rubber strap, it does have a nice drop down and it holds the watch head really well. It's really well balanced, it has amazing presence on wrist, and I wore this for quite a bit and I find that carbon really pops in the background. Nothing too obvious or blingy, but definitely a very interesting, similar to like a utilitarian EDC type sports watch. Now for the final part, the price, it's only £170. I think that's incredible value for money on offer. And what's even more incredible is that the steel version is available for under £120 with that PT5000, and it's only £180 with that Swiss SW200 Sellita movement. But this doesn't come with the Sellita. Now to sum it up, I think SH is very promising. They haven't really nailed the brand name, but they do have a decent logo which isn't offensive. One thing that stands out with this brand is that they have access to incredibly high level factories with access to premium materials and obviously that value for money aspect. I think if they get their watch enthusiast hat on just right, they can make some incredible watches. Now regarding this particular watch, definitely one to pick up. But as always, let me know your thoughts below in the comments section. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.